Your 2023 Philadelphia Phillies are headed to the NLCS for the first time since 2010. What is happening right now? They just knocked out the defending World Series champions. And what team of destiny? Are the Phillies the Braves of this year? I don't know. There's a lot to break down. I'm going to be talking a lot with my hands, which is why the mic is not in the usual mic stand. I'm holding it. The game wrapped up like 10 minutes ago or however long ago. I don't know, but I was going to be short. It's not going to be a long one. I wish it was, but I'm busy right now. I was able to sneak away to record this, but okay. A lot to break down. Phillies won the series 3-1, won it in 4 games against the defending World Series champion and our rival, the Atlanta Braves. So let's break it down. Game 1, they won 7-6. The offense off the jump against Max Fried was excellent. They really handled business. They almost everything was with 2 outs. They situational hitting was excellent. They were running the bases. They were playing small ball. Like, it was excellent. And I'm not sure if I don't think it happened yet, but the Phillies gave Rob Thompson, took away the interim tag, and Rob Thompson is now the manager of the Phillies for the next 2 seasons, at least. So that's great. I don't know if that news broke in the last podcast with me and Matt, but Rob Thompson is here to stay. So and things got a little hairy. Ranger Suarez was bad. His command was all over the place. I don't know if it was because he hasn't his past 2 starts, not great. He walked the entire house, for God's sakes, but worked out of jams after jam after jam after jam. So look for him to bounce back in the NLCS, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but I'm glad I am. So Suarez wasn't great, but he did his job. Is a very loose term. He was fine. And then you go into you go to the bullpen. Guys were great. Robertson hurt himself jumping after the Harper home run in St. Louis, which was great. So we didn't see him at all this series, but they said if the Phillies were to advance to the NLCS, he should be activated. So we should be able to see him. So that's good. Going to be a huge boost to the bullpen, a bullpen that was excellent in this series against Atlanta. You go into in that game, Eflin comes into the 9th, gives up a 3-run homer to Matt Olson, and then tides seem to be shifting almost. And it gets a little hairy there. Honestly, I was a little worried. I was sitting on my couch with my brother, and I was very worried about if they were going to blow this or not. Luckily, they didn't. Castellanos, thank God for Castellanos. This is the Castellanos game, for God's sakes. He finally looked like himself, which was great. He looked like himself this series, looked like the guy we were signing for 5 years, 100 million, which is excellent to see. I was very happy with that. Made an excellent diving catch in the 9th inning to kind of slow down the momentum of the Atlanta Braves, because the pendulum was shifting in that direction. And then Eflin was able to work out of it, and the Phillies take game 1. Pardon me. So that was huge. Taking game 1 in Atlanta, I said in the last episode, and I've said it a dozen times over, if we split in Atlanta, we'd win the series. And luckily I was right. So I looked like a genius. And then you get to game 2, which was infuriating. It was one of those games where nothing went right for the Phillies. Nothing was going right offensively. Pitching was great up until the 6th inning, which we'll get to that. But like, there was balls that were whacked and would have been gone any other night. But of course, they were caught at the warning track on both sides too, not just the Phillies. You had the Harper hit, the Hoskins fly out, the Castellanos fly out. A lot of those balls any other night, say in July, would have been 450 feet, but died in October. And then you get to the 6th inning. Zach Wheeler was cruising up until this point, gets the first 2 outs pretty easily, and then hits Ronald Acuna Jr. And then that loser decided to delay the game for like 10 minutes because he had a boo-boo. He absolutely was over dramatic with that to slow down the tempo of Zach Wheeler, and to his liking, it worked. Wheeler gave up 3 runs Dansby Swanson in that inning walked. Should have been a strikeout, but the umpire missed the call, and I've been saying that every time. And I don't care if the Phillies won the series; they should have swept. I'll die on that hill. And then you get to the Hoskins ball that led to that. Olson hits a line drive to Hoskins. Pretty routine play. Kicks off his glove, and it allows a couple of runs to score. And then things kind of spiraled out of control, and the Phillies really couldn't get anything going that game. The reason I was, like I said, the reason I wasn't upset is because we already took one. We already did exactly what I set out to do in Atlanta, which was great. And then the pendulum comes home. For the first time in 18 days, the Philadelphia Phillies played a home game. And boy golly, was that electric. Those two home games in Philadelphia were everything I ever wanted from a home playoff game, because I was only 10, 11, 12 years old when the run, the 07 to 11 was happening. So a lot of these memories that I always see and rewatch for postseason memories is very faded, very like, I don't really remember it because I didn't fully understand the game of baseball the way I do now. And that was electric. I literally had goosebumps watching that Nola deliver that first pitch to Acuna. Nola, it's only fitting that it was Aaron Nola to pitch the first home game for the Phillies in the playoffs in 10 years. And he was excellent. I think everybody as a community, as Phillies fans, all owe Aaron Nola an apology, because his past 3 starts, he's pitched, I believe, like 18 1/3 and 0 earned runs. He has been everything and more. I'm so happy for him, because he's dealt with this narrative that he can't pitch in September. And he's completely blown that out of the water. He has been fantastic these past 3 starts. And yesterday was no check. I'm sorry. Yesterday was just a testament to that. He was dominant for 6+ innings. And then the offense blows up in the 3rd inning. Spencer Strider was dealing. Spencer Strider was excellent, and I knew all we had to do was just be patient with him, because he was throwing 101 and 99 to 101 in the 1st inning, and then the 2nd inning he dropped down to like 97, 96. Then by that 3rd inning, when the Phillies put up 6 in the 3rd inning, he was gassed. I believe, was it 1-0 at that time? Yes. Gives up a run, second, and no, it's runner on second. And they decide to not attack Schwarber for some reason. Schwarber was 0 for 16 at the time, instead to go to Hoskins. And then Hoskins on the first pitch, which was 93 miles an hour from Strider, quite literally right down the middle. Hoskins hits it a moonshot to left field for a 3-run home run. Followed by a JT single, and then followed by a Bryce Harper 2-run home run, make it 6-0. So that game was over by the 3rd inning, but luckily the pitching held true. Nola was fantastic. You get to Alvarado, who was fantastic. You get to Brad Hand, believe it or not, was great. And then you turn it over to Connor Brogdon to finish it out, and he looked really good. So if we can get Connor Brogdon back to the guy we know he can be and the guy that we need him to be, I think this Phillies team is in a really good position. They're already, they're in the NLCS right now, and I couldn't be happier. When I started this, I didn't know how long this was going to last. I didn't know how long my podcast was going to be, or this whole thing was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to just be a month, or and I'm glad it's not. I love doing this, and the feedback and the community that I'm trying to build and have built has been excellent. And I want to thank you to everybody for sticking with me, for being supportive, for liking the videos, watching it, and really supporting me. It's been great, and I'm so happy that I get to continue at least for another week to make content about this Phillies team, because they're special. This Phillies team is special right now, and they proved that by defeating the defending World Series champions, who won 101 games in pretty damn noticeable fashion too. It wasn't like it was 2-1 or 3-4. Like, they beat them at home twice pretty considerably, which is huge. and then we turned the ball over to today. We had Noah Syndergaard going up against Charlie Morton. And Charlie Morton in elimination games had like a .36 ERA, something stupid like that. So you get the Braves give him the ball, and then you have Noah Syndergaard who pitched actually in game two, pitched a scoreless inning in the I believe it was the eighth inning or the ninth. No, it couldn't have been the ninth because they were losing. So yeah, the pitched scoreless eighth inning. And Syndergaard was great. He went three, gave up a run. That's exactly what we needed from him. He did, his stuff was moving, just made one bad pitch to Orlando Arcia for a home run. And that was it. He looked really damn good, only threw 40 some pitches, which was great. Bullpen basically shut it down. Andrew Bellotti was, I believe he gave up a run. I believe it was Bellotti and Alvarado who both gave up runs. It was home runs to Olson, Arcia, and I think Darno hit the one off Alvarado because Darno's a dork. And then you get to the offense. Okay, I don't want to undermine what the bullpen did. The bullpen realistically pitched this entire game. This realistically was a bullpen game because Noah Syndergaard has been used as a bullpen arm as a long man, and he went 3 innings, was great. Then turned it over to Bellotti, who was great. Then you turn it over to Brad Hand, great. I never thought that sentence would come out of my mouth. Brad Hand was great, and then you turn it to Alvarado. Obviously, he was great. And then Eflin. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher with that much movement. I say only 94 than Zach Eflin. His stuff is all over the place. And then Dominguez to close it out was perfect. So the bullpen was fantastic, and it's good we have a couple days off so they can be rested and be very, very crisp to play either San Diego or LA in the National League Championship Series. So, and then we get to the offense. Brandon Marsh, 3-run home run to really set the tone in the second, which was huge. Phillies blew an opportunity in the first, but then they answered back. But that 3-run home run by Marsh. Then you had RBI. You had an inside the park home run by JT, whose jersey you can kind of see it. I'm wearing right now. So. And then JT hit the inside the park home run. You had an RBI, another RBI by JT. Rhys Hoskins had an RBI. Bryce Harper had a damn home run. That's the word I'm looking for, home run. But it was great. And then everybody celebrating Dominguez with a 1-2-3. I believe, did he strike? I think he struck out the side in the ninth. I don't know. I was completely blacked out celebrating with my family up there. But we look forward to the NLCS. And I might be recording tomorrow. I just got my buddy texted me. We might do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this just for a little first reaction podcast. And then tomorrow I'm going to come back. I'm done work at 4. So after 4, I'm going to come back and talk about the NLCS, the preview, because hopefully we'll know who we're playing by then. Maybe we won't, maybe we will. But me and my buddy, it's not going to be Matt Sporsky. It's going to be another buddy of mine. And we're going to be talking about the NLCS, recap a little bit what we talked about here, and really just talk about where we think this team's going to go and what to look forward to. So that's going to be it. I know it's a little shorter one, but I really wanted to record one right off the jump as soon as they clinched. But thank you guys for listening, and I will catch you guys in the next one.